everybody? It's your boy Uncle Dallas. How you doing? I'm here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have great news. I have great news. Hallelujah. I have great news. So, those of you that know me, get my little trusted microphone over here as I knock down the number one thing I was not trying to knock down. Sorry about that, guys. I got great news. The app is up. It is in the beta states. So there are some of you that'll get the copy of it today in a few minutes. So be ready for that. Be ready for that. So hallelujah for that. It is amazing how God is growing this system and this organization. I am shocked, guys. I really am. God is really being good to us, and he's really taking care of us. But today I want to talk to you about, I got a lot of flack. I got a lot of flack from Ye Are Gods. Yeah, a lot of it. I'm looking for something here. There it is. Okay. No, I'm not looking for that. That's not what I'm looking for. I got a lot of flack from Ye Are Gods. A lot of flack. Because everybody is not really ready to transition. People are not ready to make that move. Whoa, there we go. People are not ready to make that move. That is amazing to me, and it is the funniest thing in the world to me, because I'm not saying that you're not saved. I'm not saying that you don't go to church. I'm simply saying one thing in the simplest manner I can say it. Ye have that. And this is what it says. It says this in the book. It says it in the book. Yeah, it says it in the book. So it's not like I'm making up something. It says it in the book. So, my bad. What am I supposed to do? It says it in the book. One of the things that's going to probably blow everybody's mind is the fact that what it says in the book and what it means in the book are two different things. I mean, yeah, are different than what people think. People think, well, he's saying you're gotten. No. Ye are gods. And you look at the reference says, ye are gods, and then you get mad at me because I say I'm the Son of God. That's what it says. That's what the book says. That's what it says. It says, ye are gods. And you, he said it. He said, and you guys are mad at me because I say I'm the Son of God. So anyway, that being said, I need you to understand what I'm about to talk to you about. Now, the thing that I need you to understand is where you are right now. There are things around you that give you two different movements. There are things that encourage you to move, and then there are things, guys, my lips are so chapped. Then there are things that encourage you to move. There are things that allow you to move, and there are things that move you. Okay? There are things that encourage you, allow you, and move you. Encourage you, allow you, and I'm going to talk about those things today. So, we're going to talk about those things today. We're going to go to one of my favorite books in the Bible, and that is Genesis. We're going to go to Genesis. Now, if you are gods, or ye are gods of your situation, you have to understand how to handle your situation. You have to understand how you handle the situation. Now, for those of you that are watching me on Facebook and on Instagram, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, I'm going to show you this. This is what it says. It says it, guys. It is not me. I'm not making this up. It says it right there. Right there. Jesus answered and said to him, is it not written, ye are gods? I have said ye are gods. Or is it not written in the law? He said, wasn't this written in the law? Wasn't it written in the law? Ye are gods. Now, if you are gods, there are certain things that you have to understand. You have to understand the system by which you are a god. You have to understand the system by which you are a god. Now, We're going to go to Genesis. I'm going to eventually go back. We're going to go to Genesis. And in Genesis, I'm going to show you something. Now, one of the simplest passages you're ever going to hear in the entire world. Everybody in the world that knows it was in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And verse 2 says, and earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water. Now, basically, and I'm going to show you this and how your life is run. Okay. This is going to be kind of deep, but I need you to follow me. So basically what he's saying is, he said, this is the beginning of the world and the system that God controls. Okay. Now we've had people say there are different people on the earth. Was this just a part of the line of God? All that stuff we don't care. We do not care whether there are more people on the earth. Was that we don't care. We're not looking for the validity. We're not looking for the validity of the book. What we're looking for are the principles to live our lives. Here's where everybody finds out. You're looking for the validity of the book. Is the Bible real? Is the Bible not real? Right now, when you go out to your car, you don't look at your car and go, is this combustion engine real or is it not real? You simply experience the car. Same situation here. We're not looking for the validity. If you're a validity searcher, search it. There are people that do that, and that's what I want you to do if that's what you do. If that's your thing, if that's your passion. But I don't want you to look for the validity. I want you to look for the principle that teaches you and instructs you how to live your life today. Not your life in Hebrew times, not your life in Greek times, your life today. So he says, first of all, and I told y'all, this is how I read the Bible. So William, your world has no direction. It has no form, verse 1. Verse 2, and it has nothing but darkness, meaning you don't have an understanding on where you are going to go. So you have to survey your world. I'm reading this from Genesis now. You have to survey your world. Guys, mentees, the world is about to be a whole different place for you. Now we got this app up because we're about to get into this stuff deep. Now, he said, my spirit, follow me now. Check this out. My world is without form, void, and darkness. And so I went deep by the Spirit and looked at my world. Deep. I don't know if y'all catching this. He's saying, I just went deep in the Spirit and looked at my world. I need a drink. The principle says, I realize the world that I'm looking for, the world that I want. I'm realizing, and let me make it real to you. I realize I don't have a husband. Don't know why. Don't have a wife. Don't know why. Not working the job I want. Don't know why. Not living the life I want to live. Don't know why. It is darkness. It is without form, and it is void. I don't care if John the Baptist wrote the Bible. I don't care if Moses, if Hebrew, if I don't care who wrote the Bible. I don't care the principle that made you pick up the Bible. I don't care if yours says Holy Bible, Bible, Blue Bible, Black Bible. I am concerned about the principle that is going to determine the direction of your life. He says, in this principle, he goes, and my world was without form and void, and darkness was upon my life. I did not have understanding. This is so good. Y'all gonna love this. So check this out. What did he do? He didn't pray. He didn't pray. I believe in prayer. I believe in meditation. I believe in all these types of things. But he didn't pray. God didn't pray. He went deep into the Spirit and asked the Spirit what needs to happen to give life to this dark, void, without form situation. Your life right now is dark because there were things you have justified as necessary for your life, and because you designed them and decided they were necessary, you are living beneath and within the realms of that thing. I don't think y'all hear me. You are living beneath and within the realms of that thing. So after his spiritual encounter, he went deep in the spirit. After his spiritual encounter, he didn't run to church and say, what does my pastor say? He didn't run to the deacon board. He didn't try to figure out what rituals to run. He didn't figure. None of those things do gods do. He didn't reflect on his fear. He didn't decide that because I've seen other things happen. None of those things did he do. He did one thing. He said he surveyed his situation by the Spirit. I'll run out of water, y'all. You go to work and your boss gets on your nerves, and so in your mind you start thinking of all the things that you can do against your boss. And I can't believe she talked to me like that, because you're not surveying it by the Spirit. You're surveying it by your mind. Your past emotions, you're hurt. You don't understand. I'm the same way. I had to deal with this myself. This same subject I had to deal with. You don't understand that his mercies are new every day. So really, his mercy started the day you opened your eyes. The moment you opened your eyes, he had a new mercy for you. But you're dealing with the fact of the mercy that you had yesterday and said, oh, she got on my nerves. I can't believe she did this to me. So now you're living in the past when the past is no longer in existence. The past has now passed, so there is no such thing as past, as only present. You're never going to live the future because every time you get to the future, it becomes the present. You can't live in the past because every time you wake up, the past is no longer gone. It's passed away. Old things are passed away. So what happens is you are living a life that reflects on the future and reflects on the past and hopes for the future, instead of living at this moment and said, in the depth of my spirit, I will assess my situation. I don't assess it by my fears. I don't assess it by my situation. I don't assess it by who likes me, who doesn't like me, who thinks I'm smart, who doesn't think I'm smart. I assess it by the Spirit, because when I get up and I realize my world is without form, it's void, it's darkness. Now, without form means it's not tangible for me. That's number one. Number two, he said, and it was darkness. That means I have no understanding. That's all these things mean. Look them up. So it means I had no understanding. So what I did is I took the Spirit of God, the Spirit that's inside of me, and I defined my world. Once I defined my world, verse 3 says, and God said. Once I defined my world, verse 3 said, and God said. You, God, said. What have you said over your world? What have you been saying over your life? What have you been saying and introducing? Those of you, my mentees, y'all know what that means. What have you introduced to your atmosphere? What have you said? Hello, my name is William. William, this is fear. Hello, fear. How you doing? Oh, fine. Just anything you want. Just, this is my house, su casa, my casa, su casa, yo casa. What have you introduced to your atmosphere and given it the right to operate in your atmosphere? God said, let there be light. What have you introduced? What do you get up in the morning? Oh my God, my back hurting. Introduction, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world. Mr. Back Pain, my name is Dallas. Do whatever you want to do. Boy, we ain't never got no money. Mr. Poverty, how you doing? Welcome to the hotel. Anything you want, welcome to the hotel. I introduce you to my atmosphere, and I keep talking about you enough that you take root in my world. God said, let there be light. What are you saying to your life? What are you saying, God, to your situation? What are you saying to your children? What are you saying to your circumstances? And by where are you gaining the information that makes even what you say valid or not? What are you saying to your situation, and where are you getting the information by which to speak that thing? Oh my God, I can't believe my head. It is just so, it is going to snow today. Says who? Can't be God, because you're the God of that situation. So if you're the God of your situation and what you're speaking of your situation happened, how come you mad about your husband acting crazy? How come you mad because you don't have a wife? How come you mad because you don't have money? How come you mad because your boss is acting crazy? What have you said over your situation? I was talking to one of my mentees last night. I don't start calling you guys mentees. Let me just call you guys friends. So I'm talking to one of my friends last night. And I told everybody, get a chance, do a one-on-one with me and let's talk. So while I'm talking to them, and they told me yesterday it was supposed to snow today. Now, I don't know if you can see outside. Let me see if we can turn this around a bit. I don't know if you can see outside. It's not snowing. When they said it was going to snow, I told my wife it's not going to snow. My wife said, okay, fine. We don't need to go to the grocery store. So we didn't. It didn't snow. So I'm talking, and while I'm talking, we went on vacation one time. And while we were on vacation, I'm not going to tell you the whole story. I'm just tell you the highlights. While we're on vacation, we were there. The news said that it is going to rain. Now, we were supposed to be there from Thursday till Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday to Sunday. We paid for it. My wife is talking to me, and she says, baby, they said it's going to rain the whole day, the whole time we're here. It's going to rain. And I said, okay, so what do you want me to do? She said, fix it. I said, okay, it's fixed. It's not going to rain. She said, okay. She went on about her business because Mrs. Dallas knows the authority of God speaking into an atmosphere. Do you? So we go to bed that night. Now remember that we're from Thursday to Thursday. We go to bed on Thursday. On Thursday morning, it's raining. Early morning before we go out. My wife is getting ready to go out. She wants to go out to the beach. She wants to go out and do these kind of things. She goes out. When she goes out, as she goes out, the rain stops. It does not rain the entire time that we're there. The news says it's raining right now. So that meant in someone else's atmosphere, it's raining. But in this atmosphere, it's not. We're in Baltimore. And those of you on the mentoring, if you give me some time, I'll give you the actual dates that this happened, because it happened in the last 5 years. We were at home. We were in Baltimore, and my wife said to me, I said, what do you want for Christmas? She said, I don't know, sweetie. I would like some snow. I said, what do you mean you would like some snow? She said, I would like some snow. I said, how many feet do you want? She said, about 3 feet, because I don't want to go in. I said, okay, great. My wife calls me. If you look at the news says it does not snow that whole year. And this year it snows on Christmas. And there are 3 feet of snow, because I told her it was going to be 3 feet of snow. What are you saying, and by whose authority are you saying it? My wife is on the phone 2 days ago. This same thing about it's supposed to be snowing. My wife is on the phone 2 days ago. One of her friends is in South Carolina, and they said it's going to snow in South Carolina and move to North Carolina. My wife said no. She said, baby, is it going to snow? I said no. She said the snowmaster said it's not going to snow today. No snow. What are you saying, and by whose authority do you speak it? What are you saying, and by whose authority do you speak it? So Genesis said, after he looked over the darkness, he said, let there be light. Now, and there was light. There wasn't let there be light and wait, there was light. So now He went from his revelation. Look at it. It said, let there be light. We're in Genesis, the first chapter. So God said, let there be light. Without even worrying about was there going to be light. I didn't walk around looking up at the sky trying to figure out was it going to rain. It's not going to rain. When it sprinkled, I was not moved because I'm the God over my situation. Now, it rained on the other side of the island, which is where we were not. That's not my problem. My problem was in my world, in my situation, I told it not to rain. You can't worry about your grown child's situation. You can't worry about your grown daughter, your grown cousin situation. You can't worry about your grown mamas and papas. You are the God of your situation. So we carry other people around being God to them and wonder why our situation don't work. I've been praying for my uncle and he still died because your uncle was supposed to pray. You were supposed to be the light, but because you wanted to look Christian or look wonderful, you began to carry the burden that he was supposed to carry himself instead of saying, you know what? Let me sit down with you, and let's pray. Let's speak into your situation, because the reason that, y'all ready for this? The reason that God, or this passage says, he looked at a situation, he looked at a situation according to the Spirit, is because you have to get the source of information that you use to speak as the God of your situation. You have to use the situation as the God of your situation. That's not the funny part. So what he was doing was getting understanding of how to address the situation. Once you have your one-on-ones with me, what we do is we simply talk about where you are, where you want to go, what you want to do with your life, and what are those things that hindered you. And I'll get people say, well, nothing hinders me. Then I begin to talk and go, okay, what is hindered? Some of the things that are hindering you right now are things that you've assumed and assessed that they belong in your life. You've assumed that it's supposed to happen that way. You've assumed that it's supposed to look that way. And so you stop speaking against it or stop speaking to it because you think that's just the way it is. So check this out. So don't leave Genesis. We're going back to Genesis, but we're going to jump over to Hebrews, the 11th chapter. And I marked mine with my pen because I'm doing a live video. So Hebrews 11 is what we call the faith chapter. And those of you that are part of the mentor group, you can go YouTube, go to YouTube, and you can see my teaching on faith. But now it says faith is substance and faith is evidence. Faith is substance of things and evidence of hope. So your hope doesn't have to be hope because your hope has evidence that's already substance. So that means I don't have to hope this is a pen. I don't have to think this is a pen. I know that it's a pen because faith gives it character, gives it substance and evidence. So now I have to live from the substance of evidence, which means now I believe I can use this pen. Got it? But you go down to the third verse and it says, through faith, through the understanding of the pen, I understand that my world are formed by a God. My worlds are formed by God. So that thing which are seen are not made by things which do appear. The things that you have appeared in your life are not made by the things that appear. They started in the spirit. They didn't start in the Bible. By the time it gets to the Bible, it has already existed. So it did not create it. You can't create from the Bible. They came from, follow me, they came from the unseen thing. Your life that you are now living came from whatever you decided to be real in your spirit. But check this out. It says, through faith, we understand. Do you know what understands mean? Understand means I perceived. Understand means I went into the spirit and I assessed my life according to the spirit. And not only did I assess my life, I determined what I was going to say so that what I desired and what I needed would take life and take root. So in Genesis, he says, the world, and in Hebrews, he says, the worlds were framed by me. That I realize that what exists does not exist by what's seen, it exists by what's not seen. So your confession, your writing, all this stuff that I'm teaching, I'm trying to get you guys to transition out of hoping what you say happens and knowing what you say is going to happen. Because you write it down and you introduce it to your world, but you assess where you are spiritually. Your boss doesn't have authority over your job. God does. That crazy spouse doesn't have authority over your relationship. God does. Your finances are not determined by how much money you make. God determines that. The way that your life is not determined by the circumstances that look like your life. God is in charge. Now, not only is God in charge, let's go back to Genesis, and I'm going to jump down here to the 2nd chapter. Not only is God in charge, and I'm going to teach you something really, really deep, guys. Really, really deep. Follow me here. Not only is God in charge, he is in charge and has given you authority or access to everything he has access to. If I tell you to come to my mansion and I have 7 different exotic cars, and I say, hey, I'm going on vacation for a year, everything in the house that I have is at your disposal. On the counter is a black American Express card. Pay it, charge it, do whatever you want to do. By the time I get back, I'll take care of it. So don't worry about it. Now, everybody in there, all of you, me, you're going to trip out because the first time you walk in there and you have unlimited access, you have had limited access for so long that you're going to be sitting in the midst of this place afraid to touch anything because you're afraid that you may break something or you will not do the right thing pertaining to that thing. So you're going to go out in the garage and look for the car that you can handle. Why? Because your understanding is based on fear. Your understanding is based on control. Your understanding is based on someone else having the control of your life. And so hypothetically, you get into my Ferrari, you go to the grocery store, you run into a tree. Don't know how to drive Ferrari. You are freaking out. Why? Because I told you everything is at your disposal. Hear me very closely. When I get back, you think I'm mad because you wrecked the car. I'm concerned that you're okay. Why? Because everything I told you is at your disposal has been underwritten by me, God. So when you wrecked the car that was worth $200,000, the insurance company gave me $500,000. I'm not concerned about the stuff. You are concerned about your movement because your past has dictated that when you move into the future, something is going to happen. Somebody's going to hurt your feelings. Somebody's not going to like you. Somebody's going to do something to you. And so what you have done is created a confession and an introduction according to things that don't line up with your spirit. So God, you have assessed that your world needs light. So verse 3 says, let there be light. And then you can go down to the days of the 7th day and then he rests. So now what he did is he took that same power and he said, now I'm going to take that power and I'm going to give it to somebody else. And then in the 15th verse of the 2nd chapter of Genesis, and the Lord took the man and put him in the garden to dress it and keep it. So what's happening is God is underwriting your life by standing behind you as the big brother going, whatever she says, you better do it. Whatever he says, you better do it. So you have to simply spend time in the spirit so you'll know how to speak as God in your situation. Because one of your rights and privileges as a citizen of heaven is to access the information necessary to make light or understanding happen to your situation. Not understanding for you, understanding for the things that are coming and unfolding and unraveling. I was talking to a guy last night on my TikTok, and he says, okay, if Christ didn't live the Bible, then what does it mean when he said, as it is written? And I'm going, guys, that's easy. Give me something that's difficult. As it is written simply means I'm referencing what you know. It doesn't mean I live it. I'm referencing what you know. Because if you even look at any passage, he says, the law says this, but I say this. The law says this, but I say this. The Bible says this as a foundation, but I live this. Maria 1922, DM me your email address. Maria 1922, DM me your email address. I have to change it on my records. I keep getting you lost. You are now sitting in a situation where God is going, what are you introducing to the world that belongs to you? So let's climb in, guys. Everybody put on your scuba gear. We're going deep. So that means that right now you have to uproot all the things that you allowed in your life that were not according to your spirit. That means you have to change situations that were not there. That means you're going to have to lean into some places. You got to lean into some places that you've been leaning back from. That means you've got to start forgiving. You've got to turn this territory into a territory that is based on what God says and what you introduce to your world. It is based on what God says and what you introduce to your world. You have to start that. You got to start speaking things even when you don't feel those things, because because emotions do not determine whether God is going to do it or not. The source of information does. So when you are looking at this, and for those of you that are the mentees, I sent you a list of passages that show you the attributes of God, and you utilize those attributes in your life. Some of you have to uproot. He sent Jesus to uproot. Some of you have to pull away. All these things have to happen in your life so that you can walk in the authority of the God of your situation. Diva Lane Hughes says she's experiencing this. So, Hebrews says, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God. Your worlds are framed by you. You created this. You created it. Now here's the deep part. You created it because of the fear or the lack that thing will happen in your life. You created the world because of what you feared would happen. Let me show you a passage. James, the first chapter, the 15th verse. It's on the screen for those of you that are watching that. James, the first chapter and the 15th verse. You created this world because of the fear that you thought would happen in your life. So, James, the first chapter said, then when their desires are conceived, they give birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. Now, here's what I need you to understand. Here's what I need you to understand. I need you to realize that, I don't need to see it, it's right there. I need you to realize that what he's saying is, when your desire has been conceived, guys, my back, I got a spot on my back. When your desires have been conceived, they bring forth sin. Now, if you look at the reference of that, he's not saying your thought process. He's talking about desires that are not the desires of your spirit. But on the same token too, when you look at the principle says when something is conceived, it's going to bring forth. It's either going to bring forth sin and separation, or it's going to bring forth life and destination. Sin and separation, or life and destination. So what you have to do is begin to conceive it. How do you know? Look at Matthew. Matthew says, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So you are introducing things to your atmosphere according to what you've allowed to be speaking to you as authority on a consistent basis. You keep watching television, and television tells you that COVID is going to kill you. But then you realize that COVID can't kill you. Why? Because you're the God over your situation, and God did not bring you this long to kill you with COVID. So you don't let that thing in there. Why? You're God, and you have to be careful what you speak as God. Imagine this. The Bible even says this principle. Did you know that you are held accountable for every idle word? Why? Because you're the God of your situation. So you have to be careful. Alexis Thompson, send me an email address. Send me your email address I'll give you that, to Higher Talk. You have introduced things to your life that are not there. I made this comment the other day to my wife. She asked my grandkids that are 3 and 6 what they wanted for breakfast. And when she asked them what they wanted for breakfast, they said cereal, because they're going to always say cereal. And I said, why do you keep asking what they want for breakfast? Because they won't eat something they don't like. They don't know they don't like it. They've been here for 4 years and they've been here for 6 years. They haven't tasted everything that's available, the things that really turn our taste buds crazy. They've probably never tasted strawberry silver chocolate. They probably never tasted filet mignon. They never tasted sea bass done in lime butter. They've never tasted that. So why do you put them in a position where they now have to assess their lives from 4 years of experience and 6 years of experience? Why would they assess their lives from the lacks and their pains and their disappointments? Why are you doing that? That is what a lot of you are doing. You are assessing your lives from all your pains and disappointments. You've not experienced the life. You've not let your spirit really assess your situation. You've assessed your situation according to your pain. And you call it spirit because you don't want to feel like you're not in control. So he assessed the world. What are you saying about your world right now? What is the information by which you have designed your world? Do you know, most of you have designed your world because they told you the things that are valuable and you follow those things that are valuable, so you now operate in that thing. So they told you that this is valuable. They told you that this is important. They told you that this is right. And they told you all these different things and you did it. So you have the American dream. You have to have a house. You got to get a Bentley. See, when you are God of your situation, the God of your situation speaks value to things. Things don't speak value to you. Check it out. When you are the God of your situation, you speak value to things. Things don't speak value to you. It is amazing to me that some of my friends, one of my friends has a Mercedes-Benz. And his Mercedes-Benz looks like he has been driving it through the mud and he uses it as a truck. Now, I like my car clean, but to him, it's a car. To him, it's a car. I remember I was watching the Beverly Hillbillies one time, and they were trying to get him to buy a Rolls Royce. And he looked at the man. He said, "Can you haul stuff in it? Can you haul stuff in a Rolls Royce?" See, because we believe the scripture, that principle that says, if you're faithful over a few things, God will make you rulers over many. And we think faithful means that we have to give it value like it's a God. We have to make it an idol. That's not faithful over it. That means faithful over a few things means you obey God and the system that God has set into place. As you do that, that system will produce another system. Okay, let me help you out. If you obey system 1, it produces system 2. If you obey system 2, it produces system 3. But if you don't obey system 1, you hinder system 2. So when you're faithful over a few things, God will give you more, because what one thing produces for you is an opening for the second thing. Because God is a system. God is not just a sporadic touch. Right now, you're on a system, and that system is either taking you to good or it's taking you to bad. But you've been programmed. So now you have to unprogram yourself so you can get to the system that you desire. If you're having problems, and I go through this every time I go through a call, if you're having problems, I just gave you in Genesis how to handle it. So let me give you in Genesis how to handle it again. So instead of looking at the general thing, let's look at your specific thing. So the first thing you have to do is, when you have a situation that is without form, void, and darkness. Without form means you cannot grab it because it doesn't have form. Void means that there's no bottom to it and no top to it. And darkness means there is no understanding. According to this principle right here, you have to go into the spirit to get out what you have to say to that situation. Any situation. You do not lack. You don't have to have nothing. You don't have to be without anything. I'm sorry. And when you understand that, you understand that the system that he has created is always going to produce good. And so you introduce that system to your life so that it does produce good. So the first thing you do when you don't know what to do is you go into the spirit. Your prayer, your meditation, your worship, your appreciation, all those things, your atmosphere, the things that I'm talking to you about, those atmospheres, you go into those things. And once you go into those things, at the point that you go into those things is the same point by which you access the information of how to address those things. As the God of your situation, you have to change the system by which you gather information to address your situation. So now, if we took this in timing, I said, okay, we want to be worth this amount of money by the end of 2022. I go into the spirit and I assess every day, what do I say to my situation? What do I say to my circumstances? Who do I forgive? Who do I let go? Because remember, who do I let go and what do I let go of? I'm holding on to these things. I got a savings account. I got a this account, a that account, a this account. I'm doing all these kind of things because I'm trying to save myself. Instead of saying, wait a minute, there's $60,000 in my, whatever. There's $60,000 in there. What do you want to do? And the spirit says, take $5,000 out and do this with it. Well, that's my savings. You lost it. See, what we don't understand is that God is real. We think God is a God of a system that we set up because we want to make sure we're there. God, can you take the $5,000 and do what God told you to do? All of a sudden now he gives you $50,000. Take your 5, put it back, take the $25,000. Okay, now God, what do I do about this? There are relationships that you need to take the relationship and say, listen, honey, I love you. I really do. But we are not working. So we need to decide how to pray to speak into our lives so that our lives will be what we are. Well, he was unfaithful. Okay, why was he unfaithful? Now, if he was just being unfaithful, it's a horse of a different color. But because there is darkness, which means a lack of understanding, you don't move because you hurt. You don't move because you're mad. You don't move because you don't understand. That's the point. He said, and the Spirit of God moved upon my situation. You're a God of your situation. I'm not going to let him do that to me anymore. You're a spirit. He did nothing to you spiritually. So you get into that situation and you assess the situation, because check this out. Nothing that you want to change will change because you nag it. Nothing you want to change is going to change because you nag it. Nagging, decreeing, and confessing are three totally different things. See, confessing means that I have it and I confess that I have it. I have evidence. Decreeing means I know it's coming, so I assign it a system. Nagging just means I'm speaking from my pain and my disappointment, and I want y'all to feel sorry for me, or I want you to know that I'm mad. You have to understand decree and confession. You have to understand decree and confession. If you don't understand decree and confession, what you'll find yourself doing is believing that you're confessing when you're actually, believing you're decreeing when you're actually confessing. When you're brought before the law, they say to you, did you do it? I want to give you a confession. The confession says, I'm going to give you truth. Your confession is speaking truth. I am wealthy, have been wealthy all my life. I'm going to live in the point of wealth. What's a decree? A decree is a command that changes your atmosphere and is a position of spiritual movement. A decree is a command that changes your atmosphere. That is an attribute of spiritual movement. That is an attribute of being God of your situation. No, my knee is not going to hurt. No, my system, my heart is not going to be bad. No, I'm not going to accept it. And so when I decree it, I follow decree with an action. Every decree should be followed with an action. You're God. So my spirit moved upon the face of the water, and then I said, let there be light. Decreed light, and light was. Decrees come with an action. I am not going to have cancer. It comes with an action. I change my diet. I begin to walk. Or I just simply go into the spirit and obey everything he tells me and then introduce it to my atmosphere. Anything that happens in your life, you can look at what's the best thing that happens in the situation, and you can say, if Elon Musk can be a billionaire, so can I. But are you willing to do what godly things need to be done to be in that position? Are you willing to do the godly things that need to be done to be in that position? Why? Because you are the God of your circumstance and of your situation. Now, let me give you some instruction. Let me kind of help you out. Every situation that is happening in your life right now, I need you to do a number of things. If you would write these things down, this would help you. First of all, what you need to do is begin to write. If you are not writing, if you do not have a notepad, please get a notepad. And you start today and begin to write in the direction that you desire. Write in the direction that you desire. Okay? So, right now, your finances aren't moving the way you want them to. right like they're already done. I'm already in the position I need to be. Your body is not the way it needs to be. Some of you know what you need to do, but you are so in your head you just won't do it. Some of you know you need to do a sit-up or two. Some of you know you need to go for a walk. Some of you know you need to stop eating the way you eat. But you allowed your emotions to attach to a personality that's less than who you are. So your attributes become according to that personality. I don't believe that depression can take you. I believe depression is real. Please believe me. I believe that depression is real, but I don't believe depression can take you down. I believe it's real. Please, I've experienced it. But I knew from my experience that this is a spiritual battle. The problem that happens is when you understand that depression and apathy and laziness and procrastination are all a part of the godly attributes that happen in your life. You didn't know that, did you? Depression is when you pull yourself away from your identity and try to live in a carnal world. It doesn't work. That means you shut your spirit down and you try to live in a carnal world. There's nothing in the world but the lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, and the pride of life. The Bible even says that in the fleshly world, there is death. So what happens is by pulling away from your spirit, and believe it or not, some of you have walked in depression and probably don't even know it. You pull away from the spiritual world and you try to live in the carnal world. You try to live like the world tells you to live, and it becomes depressing or it becomes detaching because your life is connected to your spirit. And so you go talk to somebody. And I advise you to. Because if you're not strong enough to get back on your feet or to deal with it, you need to talk to somebody. But here's the thing about that. This is for people that deal with depression. Don't know why I'm going. Well, I'm going to stop saying I don't know why I'm going down this road. Here's the people that are dealing with depression. The reason you deal with depression is because when you talk to somebody, there has to be a belief system in which you believe the person that you're talking to, because depression is going to doubt everything that it says. So you have to be in a position where you go, if they say, I need you to go outside and clap your hands, don't ask why, clap your hands. Why? Because you've got to get from under. You are under and you've got to get from under it. And if they give you instructions on how to get from under it, then you can operate from there. Got it? Same situation with any situation. People that are doing their one-on-ones with me, while I'm doing the one-on-ones, I'm giving you instructions on how to get from under the life you've lived. Some of you got to get away from religion. You've been in church too long. Some of you got to get away from crazy relationships. You think that you need somebody around. Some of you need to adjust how you think about your job. Adjust how you think about getting fired. You have to shift from being a subordinate of your situation to the God of your situation. A lot of you do. A lot of you do. I did a situation with those and I said, listen, I need you to take the cash out and I need you to put that cash out there, and whenever God speaks, do what God says. Do you know how many people just don't do it because they go, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. I gotta. And so now they're in the same situation they've always been in. Why? Because you think assessing what you see in the carnal is what is the truth in the spirit. Look at this passage again. Hebrews 11 and 3. He said that. So now we know that which is made, it did not come from that which is seen. Your wealth is not going to come from the fact that you see money. Your wealth is going to come from concepts. It's going to come from assessing spirits. It's going to come from decreeing yourself into the next level. It's going to come from writing down statements and making sure you write yourself out of it. When the Bible says write the vision and make it plain. Why? Because it's a spiritual thing. There is nothing in this world but the battle between the spirit and the battle between the flesh. There is nothing else. Nothing else. So, first thing you need to do, Figure out where you really want to be. Get into the spirit. Do not, hear me guys, when you do this, do not go and attempt to talk to God. Prayer is not 24 hours of talking. Father, I love you. Father, I need you. Father, I want you. Father, I want you. It is not vain repetition. It's this. Here is prayer. Y'all ready? Hope y'all ready. Father, I thank you for who you are and what you're doing in my life. God, give me the direction and the divine understanding of what to do next. God, I let go of all the things that I assessed that are important. Those things that I felt were valuable, I let those things go. And God, speak to my heart and my spirit. Now, William, you will listen. You will be aware. You will allow your spirit to expand. You will be aware of everything that is around you by allowing your spirit to have freedom. You will listen. You will pay attention to the details. You will watch over every one of those things. Why? Because you are the God of your situation, and you will connect to God to access unlimited information. I speak to every person, God. I come in agreement with every life and every soul that is here, that they will hear your voice, that they will operate in the Spirit. God, reveal to them, God, their area of deity, their divine area. Reveal to them, God. Reveal to them, Father, their divine area and their divine position. Reveal to them, God, all the things they need. Show them their power as the God of their situation. Show them their power, God. Amen. Now, here's what I need you to understand. Wow. Here's what I need you to understand. This must be important. Hello. Braden, I'm doing a broadcast right now, but it ran twice, so I was wondering. All right, bye. Here's what I hear. Wow. That's deep. So here's what I need you. Wow. I'm sorry, God. That just threw me off. So now what you have to realize is where you are is now going to shift. Pay attention to it. Write down everything you hear. I'm going to teach you how to learn how to hear in the Spirit. Quick little lesson. If you're in my mentoring class, I'll teach you a little deeper. Here's how you hear in the Spirit. You pray, listen, and write down what you hear. You write down all your dreams. You write down all your feelings. You write down your insights. You write those things down, and then you begin to read over them and assess them, and they'll start to make a picture. And it's a little bit deeper than that. So you don't pray just a whole bunch of talking. You pray in a manner of conversation with your spirit and with God's Spirit. That's what you do. You pray in that situation, and He'll always speak, and He'll always give you solutions. Your job is to follow solution. Some of them, my friends, will not feel good. Why? Because you have given liberty and victory and ability to a lot of things that don't belong in your life. Some of you have married men because they were good looking and they were good in bed, and then you get pregnant by them and you're wondering why you married he's acting like an idiot. He was an idiot before, but your spirit was not involved in the decision, so now your flesh has to now deal with the decision. Some of you have been hurt and didn't allow yourself to be free before you got connected to other circumstances and situations. Some of you believe that your understanding of a situation is the right understanding. My wife was talking to somebody the other day, and what happened was the man died, and then he had 2 baby mamas. And baby mama 1 had an insurance program, an insurance policy on the man that died. And so she got money when he died. Baby mama 2 said, you should give me some of that money to take care of his other kids. My wife said, that's wrong. If baby mama number one determined that she was going to fix the problem and make sure that her children were taken care of, it is not her responsibility to take care of baby mama number two. If baby mama number two didn't know what she was doing, that's on baby mama number two. Now, she can be nice to do that, and even if you are dealing with that, that's not a nice thing. That's a spiritual thing. If God speaks to you, because I'm telling you guys, sometimes God speaks to you going, well, no. If God speaks to you in that direction, then you take that direction. If he does not speak to you in that direction, sweetie, don't assume, because circumstances and common sense tells you, you don't assume that. You assume that God gave you what your world needs, and you build your world according to it. We keep trying to be nice instead of being godly. I did a class years ago, and I said the difference in good and God. Good has two O's, obvious and it's okay. God has one O, obedience. Your life will be a whole lot better if you take the responsibility of trying to take care of the world, so you'll be nice and people will like you. Because guess what? Liking you does not make your world what God called your world to be. Obedience does. And you being the God of your situation does. All right? Okay, guys. That's it. I'm Uncle Dallas. YouTube, I've got to go. It's 11 o'clock. You know we can't stay for too long. We stay too long, then people won't watch the videos all the way through. If you are part of YouTube and you are part of the mentoring group, thank you very much. Check your email. Make sure you check your email. If you have not, and you are part of the mentoring group and have not gotten an email from me by today, send me an email. You have my email. Send me an email, because I'm going to send a beta test for the app to everybody. We're going to have a Zoom tonight at 8 o'clock where I will explain how we are going to deal with the app. I think it's going to do it tonight at 8 o'clock. But check your email. All of that's going to be within your email if you're part of the mentoring group. If you have not gotten something from me because you have tried to register for the mentoring group in the last 3 days, the reason you haven't gotten anything from me is because those that have registered in the last 3 days, you're not going to the registration, you're going directly into the app. I'm going to send the app information to you, so don't worry about that. I saw you. So my YouTube people, I love you guys. I appreciate you for being there. My Facebook people, thank you very much. I'm Uncle Dallas, and you have just been taken to a higher standard. Peace.